Hi, my name is Mitch Mitchell, and today I'm going to talk about the concept of help. The idea of helping others that sometimes brings help back your way later on. And I think that's a good thing to talk about. I'll tell you the truth. I have spent a lot of my life trying to help other people do things. Maybe not so much in the last few years, although my goal was trying to help take care of my mother, and I had some people who came along the way. There's a thing about help where sometimes help is free, sometimes you have to pay for it, sometimes you have to actually go out there and try to find help. But sometimes help will come your way. You may not see it coming, but it will come, and if you're open enough to accept some of that help, then things may go along better. Now, I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes you don't want that help. Sometimes you don't want to give that help. But if you can, in those times when it's possible, it all works out for the best. So let me start with this. I spent a lot of my life trying to help others. As a kid, my helping was trying to make other kids feel better about themselves. I didn't know that's what I was trying to do. It was just how it was for me. Maybe because I was an only child, so I spent a lot of time by myself, that when I had an opportunity to be around other kids, that it was just one of those kind of things that I did it. You know, as a military kid. So you make friends kind of easily, and they don't even have to be close friends, but you make those friends. And then you see things in some of them that maybe your mindset says, okay, I'm going to help these people. Or sometimes helping just means being a friend. When I was in Japan, sounds weird, but this is the truth. I think we started kindergarten. And you didn't go to school on the military base. You went to this school that was right outside the base, and there were Japanese kids who came. And one of the weird things is that I knew how to speak Japanese. Kid Japanese, mind you, but still I knew how to speak Japanese. And so this school I went to, it was supposed to be for the kids on the base, but some of the Japanese families sent their kids to our school. And almost none of the teachers spoke Japanese. So who did it? Yours truly. And okay, as a kid, we didn't always do school stuff when we were talking. If I got them laughing, I felt good about that. But there were other times where you did do something about school. And so I would help them with certain things. And I got invited to go to their houses for sometimes lunch or dinner because, you know, kindergarten is a morning thing. And I don't know that a lot of the other kids on the base ever got that, but I got that. And it just continued throughout my life. You know, baseball used to be my favorite sport. And so if we were out there as a team, and I always wanted to win. I'm not going to lie, winning was always the main thing on my mind. But if I had teammates who struggled, I would try to help them. I got some help from coaches when I needed it, but for everybody else, if I had my opportunity to help them, then I would help them. It's amazing how many kids are actually scared of the baseball. So their parents sent them out there for baseball. They were scared of the ball. I understood that. Baseball, it's a hard thing. It can hurt. Yeah, we can't throw as hard as you can as you get older, but it still hurts. So that was one of those things I did. I did a video a long time ago where I talked about when I lived in Kansas City while my dad was in Vietnam and I was in the ghetto, and how it was a tough time. What I've never talked about is that there was a period of time where there was one kid who lived on the street who I helped to learn how to read. And it sounds really strange, but both of his parents were blind. His family was poor. He got picked on a lot in school. And it was just hard for him to learn how to do certain things in school, where the teacher spent more time basically smacking kids than teaching. That's just how it was. I only got hit once. My mother complained, and no one ever touched me again, teacher or student. Interesting lesson learned. Anyhow, I did that. And just over the course of years, that's what I've done. When I was in a leadership position, I thought that the position of being over somebody else was to help them get better. I noticed a lot of my peers didn't do that kind of thing, but that's what I did. I helped them to learn their job better, because then it would help me overall look better. So I did that for them. I helped train them. If there were certain things that I couldn't train them, then I got someone else in who was expert at that to come in and train. And I convinced the people I reported to, hey, I need to bring in some other people because we're not where we should be. And because I had done my thing and I was able to explain to them how much we needed, then that always happened. And that was a good thing. So we forward to basically now. I work from home. I work by myself. I basically gave up my career for 4 or 5 years to take care of my mother. I couldn't go on the road anymore. And it was hard to get the kind of contracts I was getting beforehand because I could travel then. I couldn't travel now. And someone wants you to be sitting at a desk 8 to 10 hours because they don't understand how consulting actually works. And so I basically had to give all that up. So now I'm back trying to do something. I might end up going on the road later on in the year, but instead right now I'm working on what I call a membership site. Actually, I guess it's called a membership site. I'm calling it a training site. I'm working on it using membership software, and I'm totally out of my field of expertise. Writing content is easy. Understanding what I know after almost, at this point, almost 40 years, that's interesting. But trying to figure out some of this stuff, the technology of it has been really difficult. And trying to find people to help you is interesting because the software only goes so far in what it teaches you. You're talking to different people who know some of the stuff, but they're trying to teach you what they want you to know when you're trying to figure out something else. That doesn't always go so well. And at a certain point, you start to find out that, if you really need help, you need to find that help. And so I found that there's a group that's on Facebook that deals with exactly the kind of thing I'm trying to deal with. And then I've got some other friends who know technical stuff that I can go talk to them about. And then I had this guy who reached out to me from one of the integration software. That means nothing to you. Let's just say that just because you have certain software doesn't mean that it will do everything on its own. Sometimes you need to hook up to other services in order to get things done. But I've got this guy who's really been helping me a lot, and he's still there. I don't know if he's getting paid to help me, but he's there, and he's helping me to walk through stuff. And one of those things you start to find out, at least I started to find out, which is interesting because I then can look back and see what I did for some other people, is that it gives you encouragement, it gives you inspiration, and it gives you impetus to put more time and effort and work into what it is you're doing. So for instance, yesterday I spent 5 hours working on coding issues. Like I said, outside of my real field of expertise, but that's what I did. I did the same thing the day before. I spent 6.5 hours on it. Yes, I did have to keep getting up and going, walk for a little bit just to re-stimulate my mind, and then I sat back down. But basically 6.5 hours. And it's been amazing how much I have accomplished in just, this week than I did over the course of 3 months. Because I decided I needed some help in a field. I went out and found that help, and I found that the help really wanted to help me. Like I said, they're not getting paid for any of this, but it's just a wonderful feeling. And I realized that that's how I used to feel when I used to help people out, even if they reported to me, even when they didn't, even when I was just a kid, when I was in school, high school, college. It's a great feeling when you help others and they appreciate it and they thank you and you see them improving and getting along. And it's a great feeling when you're getting help and you're able to improve, and it encourages you in its own way to do things. I think that you don't see a lot of people helping each other. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you don't see it. There's people that sometimes you have to be thankful for Even if it's just in that moment, you have to be thankful that they came up at a time when you really needed help. And there's those other times where people need to thank you, probably have, but even if they didn't, maybe in their minds they're thanking you because you came at a time when it was critical for them, where they really needed some kind of help, some kind of direction, and you were the person who was there for them. So let me know, have you had those feelings where there's times where you've helped others and you felt the thanks that they've had for that, or times where you needed help and you reached out to someone else, or maybe they just popped into your life at that point and it helped out? Y'all let me know. Like I said, my name is Mitch Mitchell. If you like stuff like this, think about subscribing, but at least comment. Y'all take care.